I kind of wanted to talk about good old DNF Duel. And so the thing that I wanted to say is that it kind of has a major difference from the other fighting games coming out recently. And I don't know if you know what the difference is offhand. It's probably not going to be what you think of. The big difference, I'll reveal it to you at the end of these videos. We're going to watch all the trailers because they just released them. They're all out. It's like 2 minutes, 48 seconds. We can go check them out real quick. I think the characters look really solid. But I wonder if you can think of the major flaw that I could see coming out from the release of DNF Duel versus something like Project L, which is also another big MMO MOBA company. So, without further ado, so DNF Duel is gonna be a game based off of an MMO, right? It's kind of loud. It's a game based off of an MMO. All these characters look really sick, in my opinion. Get my mouse out of the way. So we got Berserker, which is right here. Super short trailer, by the way. I don't know why Arxis keeps doing this stuff to us. It's like 10 seconds and a couple of combos, that's it. So this guy looks pretty cool, right? I think he's super aggressive. We have the Inquisitor, who I think has some Millia setups. Like, apparently she has the Jar of Fire from Smash. It's pretty nice. And she has this big wheel, like the chick with red hair. So she has a giant wheel she can throw down on her wake up. So I don't know if she's going to be the mix-up character or not. But she looks pretty cool too. Up next should be Grappler. If I remember correctly. That was the order it was released in. Yeah. So this guy looks kind of cool too. I honestly think he's kind of sleep in some ways. Like, usually on a grappler I kind of expect to see something a little more dirty. But I'm not sure what the properties are. Like, maybe this is plus as hell when he does this dive kick. Who could say? Like, I'm looking for some Garuda impact, bro. Where's that in my new grappler? The super does look sick though. Striker, I don't know, jam wannabe. That's what it feels like to me. I'm not really super excited. The character looks cool though, but basically just jam wannabe, I think. The super looks cool, a little gravity punch. I like that the space, I like that like the universe is behind it. That's kind of sick. This is the character I'm most excited for. I mean, I play Happy Chaos, so you could guess that I'm down for the gunslinger. But we'll see if he's any good. Sometimes you never know. It's like basically Noelle Vermillion wasn't that great either when she first came out, I think. Pretty cool looking, right? So, something that I wanted to point out on all of those, I don't know if you've thought about it yet, but maybe you had some time to mull it over and see it in the videos. None of those characters have names. Did you realize that? Or what that means? None of the characters in their respective trailers have any names. They have kind of only a few voice lines, right? We don't get to see a lot of their personality. So what is the fatal flaw behind that, right? In my opinion, you have two kinds of people that come to a fighting game, right? You got the try-hard diehards, right? Who come in, they play ranked, that's all they do, like me. And they don't give a fuck about story. And then you have the dudes who come in and they play the story mode, they play the arcade mode, they get 100% achievements, they do the works, and then they maybe play a couple hours casually online, and that's all they do, right? Grand Blue Versus was like this too. Grand Blue Versus had a huge story mode, items to get, stuff to do, but like those people who played that didn't really play online that much. Like, there's probably some crossover, I'm sure, but ultimately a lot of those people didn't transfer over to come playing the fighting game in the competitive sense, right? So why is this important? Well, none of these characters have names. So it kind of implies that they don't have a lot of story to them. They're just classes, right? There's no named characters yet. And think about the audience. Who plays Dungeon Fighter? For the most part, right? Like, you've got to imagine that other than the small PvP crowd that plays Dungeon Fighter, most of the people who play DNF probably play it to grind, to get items, and to just like have max stats and go play RPGs, right? They're more interested in just like playing this beat 'em up RPG, get a bunch of stats, do a bunch of stuff, finish quests. And there is a possibility that there's a story mode for this game, but none of the characters have names or they're just classes, right? So maybe you play a class in the story mode, but like, it kind of implies to me that DNF Duel is just going to be ripping out the PvP form of Dungeon Fighter and making a fighting game out of it. And that's a fatal flaw to me, because a lot of the people who play Dungeon Fighter are probably playing the RPG portion of it, right? They're not just diehard PvPers. So you're losing a huge portion of the audience that would cross over. And why is this different from Project L? The biggest difference, in my opinion, is that Project L is a brand built on competitive gaming. You have League of Legends, right? And sure, you have Ruined King and some of these other games that came out, but Project L came from a brand that was largely based around a competitive experience in a 5v5 mode, right? And they're just watering it down to a 1v1 mode. It's a really clear transition to me. But DNF Duel kind of doesn't work like that, because DFO is just a big MMO where you do a bunch of quests. And there is PvP, but I don't think the population that does hardcore PvP in that game is analogous to the population that does the grindy part of it. So I hope that Neopol and Arc System Works figure out a way to incorporate some kind of very deep, overarching story mode, but we don't really have a lot to go off of right now. Most of the characters have no names, there's no named characters, and it feels as if they're just kind of bringing this flat experience to us as fighting game players because there's a PvP mode in DNF Duel. I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but to me, I hope that they can bring a more balanced crossover of the story mode and the RPG aspects of Dungeon Fighter so that we can bring more people to the fighting game scene. As always, if you like my content, check me out on YouTube. I have a YouTube channel under the Symbolist. Like and subscribe. And if you like me on YouTube, come follow me on Twitch so I can get affiliate and give you guys sick emotes. I appreciate you hanging out with me. Now let's get back to gaming.